What's up, YouTube? I'm Michael. Behind the camera is Ellie. We are the Bill Paying Hobbyists. We are using our hobbies and skill sets to keep our debt down and to save up for a down payment on a house. If you enjoy what we're doing here and you're having a good time and learning something or getting ideas to keep your budget down low, please make sure you subscribe and then hit that notification bell so that you'll be notified every time a new video comes out. Today we got some exciting news. We're doing something completely different. Gonna use this blank. This is, what is this one again, honey? Orange and black double dyed stabilized maple burl. There's supposed to be orange in here and I hope we find it because it's Ellie's favorite color. And you're going, wait a minute, you said this was gonna be something new. Yes, it is a pen blank, but we're not making a pen. We're gonna make an ice cream scoop. So the first thing we need to do is drill our hole. So let's get to it. The first thing we need to do is find a center. This one's a little bit bowed and a little wonky, but that's okay, we need to get close. So to do that, we're just gonna connect our corners. Where those two lines intersect is my center. Take my awl and my 1950s hammer and make a little dent right there. That gives my drill bit something to guide to. For this one, we need a hole big enough for the shaft and for epoxy to hold to. So it calls for an 8mm drill bit and to only go 3/8 or an inch and 3/8 down to cover the length of the shaft and give you a little bit of room for air and for your epoxy. We need to set this to 3/8 of an inch down. All right, now we're set. There we go. That is done, and now we can go to the lathe and get this beautiful sucker turned. There's a couple things we need to do differently. First of all, we don't have a tube going all the way through it. And this goes on with a collar on the top. So this goes down. I will need to make a 5/8 inch diameter tenon on here to accept the collar. It keeps you from breaking the wood. That's what it's for. So I've got to build that in there. And our parts are a little different. On this end, we have what is called a dead center. It only turns with the lathe as it goes. And on this end, we have a live center. This one's very similar to the mandrel saver, except it has a point. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this point and we're gonna put it in there so it holds that still. So yeah, this will go in here. That'll tighten on there and then this will hold pressure on it and we'll start turning. And I'll remember to make my tenon for this collar to only be that 1/2 inch deep and then we'll make the shape of the rest of the blank. Let's get it all together. I wanna find the center of this side also for that point so that I can keep as much of the blank as possible. Now when you're using these, it's always good to turn and make sure your stuff grabs. See, that's not grabbing and it's just, the wood's just turning. So you want to keep turning until you get it nice, until you get a good grab on it. I think we're ready to turn it. Ooh, that's freaking pretty. I'm gonna go to my gouge or my chisel. So I'm more comfortable getting this close. Time to sand. It's pretty. It looks like marbled ice cream.
Even better.
So I'm going to sand with some 180. There we go. So our tenon is done. Time for some sanding. Again, using 180. do some 320. Now we're going to do a 500 grit foam pad and then a 1500 grit foam pad. Man, that's going to be pretty. First, I want to clean it as best as I possibly can. Denatured alcohol. So now I'm going to turn my lathe down to about 600. This is a Blue Shop paper towel. Rolled it up, cut it into about 1 inch wide sections. And I'm going to use some Mercury Flex Medium. And I'm going to put it on here. Actually, I'm going to turn this down a little bit more. Alright, let's put some medium or some thin on here now. Alright, I'm going to let it sit for about 10 minutes and then we're going to polish it up. Alright, so that's rested about 10 minutes. I'm going to do this one a little different. I'm only going to use the 400 Abernet on this to rough it up because I want to keep as much on there as I possibly can. And I know that it's going to, in most cases when you do these kind of contours, you're going to have a lot here and a little here on the ends. A lot here, a little on those ridges. Not ends, ridges. So I want to be really light with it. Now, we're going to polish it. Some glass polish in my honey bear. Turn it up to about 18. Oh, that's pretty. Now I need to get that off. Now I need to polish that. This is my Novichok, and I put the pin jaws in there. All right, so I need to put this in here, but if I tighten this down too much to hold it steady, I'm going to crack that, and I don't want to do that. So put a pin in there. I'm going to test it. I want to see something. It may work, it may not. Clean that up. Some 320. 500. 1500. Be really careful if you're using one of these. One of those edges hit you, you're gonna know it. That's gonna hurt. Oh, that's pretty. I love it. All right, let's take this over to the workbench and we'll put it together and let it dry overnight. So I'm gonna use my favorite JB Weld 5-minute epoxy to get this all put together. And before we do, I'm going to put some tape around the edge right here so I don't get any epoxy on the handle. I'm going to rough this up. I'm going to rough up the shaft so that, you know, the epoxy has more to adhere to and it's not something smooth. And then we're going to set it all together and we'll let it dry overnight, and then we will have our very own homemade ice cream scoop. So that's all roughed up. Now let's mix up some epoxy. And just so the tape doesn't come off, we'll let that sit overnight. We'll be back tomorrow. All right, here we go. 24 hours. There we go. That is one big ice cream scoop. So now it is 7.5 inches long with a 4 1/4 inch handle. And it fits my hand just right. That's gonna be nice to use. Awesome. It's numbers time. For tools and supplies, we're looking at $15. For time and material, $12. That's a total cost of $27. We could sell this for $50 and give ourselves a profit of $23. That's not bad for something brand new and something that's handmade. Remember, these are handmade. We're not going to Big Lots or going to, what is that place? Dollar Store, Dollar General or something like that to pick up this mass-produced ice cream scoop. It's handmade, it's handcrafted, it's an art, and I think it warrants that kind of price. Keep in mind also that the blank that we used on this one was pretty expensive. It's not some piece of scrap wood or a piece of pine that I found laying around the house. You could do that or use a piece of acrylic when you find one big enough, and they turn out beautiful. They do, and so does pine. If you get the right piece with the right knots in it, it's gonna look beautiful. It's gonna, what's the word I'm looking for? It's going to reduce the amount of cost on your end, which will reduce the price that you sell it for and still give you a decent amount of profit for your time. There's a few things I learned on this one. It's the first time I've turned that kind of blank. It's
the first time you've done shapes like that too.
And the shapes like that, yeah, they're different. I'm not going to say they're difficult, but it's definitely different. I do know I need a couple more gouges or chisels. That,
oh my gosh.
No. I really don't. I actually have another chisel. I just have to finish putting it together and making the handle, and I can use it. So I really don't need any more tools. A diamond chisel would be very helpful when making those, and I have one. Like I said, I just need to finish it up. But what I learned, the valleys are going to catch most of your CA glue when you're doing those finger grips, and the ridges on the top, they're going to get the least amount. So you need to be really, really careful when you're sanding and polishing so you don't sand off all the polish you put on those ridges. Keep that in mind, and always the material that you cut with or that you turn always has a lot to do with what you're going to do. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you learned something and got some ideas to put money towards your budget or put a little extra money in your pocket. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when our new videos come out every Thursday. We'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to like and share. Thank you. We love you.